This is April.
This is Missy, and this is SheelaNaGig. Each week, of course, we present and explore our own SheelaNaGig, a woman whose strength and perseverance empowers us, inspires us, somebody who has done amazing, great things that we want you to know about. It could be somebody you heard of.
Or somebody you haven't.
And that you should know about.
Definitely should know.
Bringing these Sheila's light. That's what we're doing.
That's what we do.
So, welcome everybody. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. We really appreciate it.
We do. Glad to be here.
Yeah, we're glad to be here. How are you, April?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I just had a crown on my tooth.
Oh, that's so much fun.
I feel like I'm an old person. I always had really good teeth, and just in the past couple of years, I have 2 crowns now. I barely have any cavities. I always had really good teeth. I don't know what's happened.
Age happens, my friend.
I got 2 crowns. And I hate the dentist. I find it very traumatic. So it was a little.
I'm sorry.
A little scary. I did take some drugs, so I'm a little loopy. But I do want to give a shout out to Dr. Mark Meckes, rock and roll doctor, Long Beach, California, if you're looking for an amazing dentist. He's so rad. And the best part is he plays awesome music the whole time. Although I was a little bit taken off guard to hear Led Zeppelin, Rolling Stones, and then suddenly solo George Michael. And it was very funny. Well, it was very funny because I was sitting there and I'm like, what the hell was that? He comes in and he goes, I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. What the hell, George Michael? I'm like, oh my God, that is what I was thinking, Dr. Mark. That was a little bit of a surprise. And he kind of went into a little, we talked music because he's a musician,
why the heck with his dentistry.
Why he likes George Michael.
Music.
Well, the first time my son got a cavity, he got to watch cake videos while he did his cavity, which is,
pretty great.
Yeah. So for somebody who's really fearful of dentists, I do recommend him because he's very thoughtful and kind and lovely. And you get to listen to awesome music and watch cake videos. So,
Well, speaking of awesome music, I went on Saturday night to the Hollywood Bowl with my husband, and we saw Diana Ross.
Oh my God!
And the woman is 81, and she's as sexy and beautiful and dynamic, and her voice is lovely, and it was just...
I'm so jealous. Did she do Upside Down?
Yes, and we were all upside down dancing. It was great. I was sobbing in a couple of places. It was just so reminiscent of childhood.
Of course.
Growing up with Motown. And Barry Gordy was in the audience.
Was he really?
Yeah, he was. Turns out they had a kid together. I didn't realize that.
I guess I knew that, but I had forgotten that.
Yeah. She had 2 of her daughters come on and sing with her. That was really touching. Yeah. She had her grandkids coming out dancing. It was very sweet.
One of her daughters is a really amazing actress. What's her name?
2 of them.
They're both actresses?
Yeah. Rhonda Ross and, oh gosh, I'm not going to blow this. Ellis, yeah. She's a different... Tracy Ellis, you got it.
Yeah,
Tracy Ellis.
I love her. She's a great actress. She's really talented. Wow, oh my God.
Both daughters seem really amazing.
I'm sure they would be. I just can't, I'm not familiar with her other daughters much, but that's so cool. And what did you see on the way?
Oh, and we were in Hollywood, and we saw a tribute to Ozzy Osbourne, who had just passed away, and there was a kind of a spontaneous tribute on his Hollywood star. People brought flowers and mementos and photographs. And
right.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
It's really funny. I'm just getting it now because April sent me a picture of Ozzy's memorial going on there in Hollywood. And I said, wait a second, are you an Ozzy fan? Do you like Sabbath? What's up with that? I did not know that. And she said, I like him okay, whatever. And then I said, are you there with Steven? And she said, yes. And that made a little bit more sense because Steven's a little bit more of a rocker, I guess. But now I'm hearing, and I had forgotten that you were going to the Diana Ross concert.
Right.
So just up until this moment, I thought that you and Steven specifically went to the Ozzy Memorial.
That's it. We drove right straight to Hollywood for that.
That is
we
what I
ran
thought.
Into the memorial. We were having dinner and walking around Hollywood before the show.
Right.
It was a beautiful afternoon, I have to say.
That's so
evening.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's so nice. That's really cool. Back to Diana Ross, I just remember this one time we were doing an event, you and me, in Santa Clarita, where you live. It was at a park.
Yes.
And it was super hot. It was crazy, and we were standing in line for some food, and we heard Upside Down.
Yeah,
And the
we
two
both
of us just started singing it
again.
like at the top of our lungs, and everybody was staring at us. We were like, upside down, boy, you turn me inside out.
And meanwhile, Missy, of course, has this great voice. I, however, do not.
That's fun. Did you just hear that? It was pretty good, right?
But it doesn't stop me. Unfortunately, Missy doesn't stop me. You're a good sport.
I love singing. I love when somebody wants to sing with me. Wow, it's like my childhood. Like we all sang in my house. But,
us too.
But it was very funny because there were these girls in their 20s like just staring at us like we had a disease.
My God, right.
And we go, what is wrong with them? Can they shut up? My God, seriously. It's
Disturbing
so
the
cringe.
peace.
So cringe. This is so cringe. Seriously. But I was proud of us. I'm glad we did that.
We did. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, Missy, tell, who is
I
our
have-
Sheela today?
Well, I'm very excited about my Sheela today. I tend to always get excited about my Sheela.
She does.
I get excited about a lot of things, actually. I'm kind of excitable.
Yeah.
Just in general. So we're gonna dig in here. Okay, April.
Yes.
Think of your favorite novel, and then you have a lot of them, but think of
Yeah.
like your favorite novels. And certainly you know the author, and you probably know the title of these books. But can you think of its editor or its publisher?
Generally, no.
Probably not, right?
Yeah, right?
In publishing, the people who work behind the scenes, unfortunately, rarely get their due.
True.
Kind of like editors.
Yeah.
Taylor.
Yeah. We love you, Taylor. He's our podcast editor. You didn't know that.
And we've worked with some great editors, actually. Shout out to Dana Sullivan. And also to Andy.
Yeah.
We've been very lucky. But kind of along the same lines, I'm going to say, right? Because, you know the name of the TV show or the album or whatever. You know the actor, the singer, the name, but you often don't know these people behind the scenes who
make everybody
producing
look good,
and publishing
right? Yeah.
and editing. Yeah. So, according to writer J.R. Johnson, funny how something can play a big role in your life without you knowing all the details behind it. My childhood bookshelves were filled with science fiction and fantasy, and most of those books were published by Del Rey. Which brings me to our Sheela today. Her name was Judy Lynn Del Rey. And she was best known for founding Del Rey Books, which was a science fiction and fantasy publishing imprint that turned fantasy in particular into a major publishing category.
Oh, interesting.
Had she not come on the scene, I dare say that sci-fi and fantasy would not be where they are today.
Really?
Oh,
Tell
yeah.
us why.
It's fascinating. She's fascinating. Many of you know book titles such as Bicentennial Man or how about George Lucas's Star Wars? But again, you may never have heard of Judy Lynn Del Rey. She was the editor and publisher that was instrumental in those two books, as well as 65 other bestsellers. She was also a woman with dwarfism who revolutionized the world of sci-fi editing with books from luminaries such as Arthur C. Clarke, Isaac Asimov, and Philip K. Dick.
Wow, big names in the genre.
I know. It's pretty amazing. Judy Lynn Del Rey was born on January 26, 1943 in Long Island.
In Long Island.
She was born in Long Island, New York.
Yeah, not too far from where I was born.
Where were you born in?
I was born in Brooklyn.
Yeah, pretty close to Brooklyn, right?
Close enough.
So she was born to physician Dr. Zachary Benjamin and his wife Norma Victoria Benjamin, and she was one of three, along with her brother Leonard and her sister Randy Benjamin. And Judy Lynn was born with achondroplasia.
And what is achondroplasia?
It's a bone growth disorder that results in dwarfism due to a genetic mutation in the arms and legs, and it often causes chronic pain, particularly in the back and the legs, most often significantly impacting the quality of life.
Oh.
Yeah. But the thing about her was her disability never held her back. And you can imagine, just from what they know about this, that she was probably in significant pain for a good deal of her life.
Wow.
She was. There's not a lot about her childhood, but anybody who knew her from the time she was young described her as confident, assertive, resilient, passionate, and audacious from day one.
Oh, I love that.
I know.
Yeah.
Didn't let anything stop her.
Fabulous.
She had a really active imagination. She loved prose. She just had an appetite for any kind of literature she could kind of get her hands on. Mm-hmm. But she really did love sci-fi and early fantasy, which again was really not a big genre. You really had to go out of your way to find it. Del Rey ended up attending Hunter College in Manhattan, studying literature. An encouraging professor noticed her keen eye for detail, and by her senior year, she was editing a scholarly book on Joyce titled The Celtic Bull, and ended up graduating with an English degree.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So a little side note here.
Yes.
I know how you love putting pins in things, April.
Yeah, I do. I like putting pins in things.
She loves putting pins in things. So I'm going to put a pin in this.
Okay.
Consequently, after she did the editing for The Celtic Bull, she began collecting bulls because she began receiving bulls as gifts and then thrifting them along the way. Little ceramic bulls, little stuffed bulls. She got really into bulls.
So she had the whole bull collection.
She had the bull collection.
All right.
Not to be confused with the bull collection. It's a bull collection.
Bull.
B-U-L-L.
As in bullshit.
As in bullshit. Yes.
Because if you have a lot of shit in your house and they're bulls, it's bullshit.
That's true. Good point, April.
Hey.
Good point. Okay.
That's why you have me.
Exactly. Exactly. No, say it.
That's why she keeps me around.
Say it with your accent. Come on.
That's a lot of bullshit.
So, after graduation from Hunter College and a depressing 6-month job hunt, the college finally got her an interview with Frederick Pohl, who is the editor of a very lauded science fiction magazine called Galaxy. Mm-hmm. This is in the 1960s, and she was already very familiar with Galaxy because she would go to these sci-fi conventions.
Oh.
She was really into sci-fi conventions, which are still around today.
Is that like, the...
Comic-Con?
Comic-Con, yeah.
Sure, it's kind of the same concept, but it's,
Did they
based
dress
around...
up?
Maybe they did. I don't know if they dressed up. Maybe they should have, right? That's so cool.
Seems like the thing to do.
Right, dress up,
Yeah.
do a little cosplay. I don't know, do a little fantasy sci-fi dress up. I think that sounds amazing. So she was a regular attendee, though, and she really felt like she kind of found her people there. Mm-hmm. It kind of attracted free-thinking people who are maybe a little bit outsiders, just a way of them bonding, coming together. And she loved going to these conventions. And that's how she became familiar with Galaxy magazine. So when Hunter College got her the interview, she was super excited because she's like, I know Galaxy magazine. However, it hardly seemed promising when she actually had the interview. To quote Del Rey, oh, you gotta do it, April.
In truth, Agatha, he wanted somebody to make coffee and read proofs, and it was down in the bowels of Manhattan. But reluctantly, I'm reading your part.
That's okay.
But reluctantly, go ahead, Missy.
She took the job in July of 1965. On April Fool's Day of 1966, Judy Lynn met her husband, Lester Del Rey, a science fiction writer and editor, and he had signed on as an assignment editor. And she said, "Go, April."
We'd see each other. Shortly thereafter, his wife, who had become a friend of mine, got killed in an automobile accident, claiming he snagged her in a moment of weakness.
I love it. At this time, science fiction and fantasy were still considered very niche genres.
Oh, for sure. Wow.
But there, Del Rey learned the basics of publishing and her marketing savvy and her ability to identify and nurture talent. That was a big thing for her. Working at Galaxy really helped her to rise rapidly through those editorial ranks, becoming associate editor in just 4 years in 1969.
That's amazing.
It is amazing.
What an accomplishment.
That same year, Judy Lynn won the first Fandom Hall of Fame Award, an award that honors individuals who have made lasting contributions to science fiction, often recognized for their dedication and active participation in the sci-fi community, which we know she was, as was her husband, Lester. Then on March 21st of 1971, Judy Lynn finally married Lester Del Rey. I referred to him as her husband. It was a little premature there, but they did get married in 1971 and continued to work together. And by the late 1960s, despite her growing clout at Galaxy, Del Rey claimed, what did she claim?
I was bored because all the big shots thought they knew what they were doing.
And the travel became really constant for her too. It was daunting. She was glad-handing booksellers, drumming up movie tie-ins. And for a person sick of gawking strangers and to whom normal-sized furniture was an inconvenience, such a job demanded no small courage.
No kidding. I just want to stick my nose in here
Yes.
because I'm under 5 feet myself. I'm not a dwarf, but I am a short person. And let me tell
She's
you,
tiny.
yeah, it's really hard being a tiny person in a bigger person's world.
Yes, I can imagine. I can imagine. And so Del Rey stayed in this position, though, at Galaxy until July of 1973, whilst also working on If magazine, which is a first-tier American science fiction magazine, until Ballantine Books lured her away in 1973, where she was offered the position of vice president.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Yay,
She's
Sheila.
pretty sought after.
Yeah.
She's making a lot of difference in the
Good.
science fiction world at this point. So soon after that, Ballantine was acquired by publishing giant Random House, which then named Judy Lynn senior editor.
All right.
Yet her first big move was a risky one, cutting ties with Ballantine author John Norman, whose highly popular Gore novels, spelled G-O-R, were widely known for their misogyny.
Ooh,
Good for her.
good for her.
Just cleaning house.
Yeah.
Get rid of this misogyny.
Right.
Yeah. So in 1974, Judy Lynn brought her husband, Lester Del Rey, along to revitalize the Ballantine science fiction publishing program. And to share a Lester and Judy Lynn Del Rey interview with you from 1975 by David A. Truesdale, Judy Lynn is quoted as saying, "You really should do it in your accent. Here, April."
Basically, I'm looking for stories with beginnings, middles, and ends. A story that will entertain the reader, keep him interested, make him want to come back and buy more Ballantine books. I'm not interested in the purely literary works that are all around unless they have a good story. They have to have a plot. I've had several writers tell me they want to raise the sights of science fiction and they're going to educate the consumer. Well, the consumer doesn't want to be educated. I need to put out books that are entertaining, fun to read, and say something.
Well done. Well done,
Well,
April.
thank you,
well
thank
done.
you.
Okay, so in 1976, Judy Lynn won a Locus Award for Best Anthology for editing the original science fiction anthology series called Stellar. It was for Stellar 2, actually. As Ballantine's list grew more successful, turning out numerous science fiction bestsellers, Ballantine decided they needed an in-print publishing company to break science fiction out of its category status. So Del Rey Books, with Judy at the controls, was launched in March of 1977 when Judy was only 36 years old, and we still recognize the highly successful Del Rey Books imprint today.
Wow. That's really impressive.
Yeah. But in 1977, that's when Judy Lynn, of course, now at the helm, she took her biggest risk of all, fantasy. In prior decades, fantasy had a reputation for being unsellable. Unless, of course, your name was J.R.R. Tolkien, or you wrote Conan-style barbarian fiction, whereas the top science fiction magazines often had distinguished runs, fantasy magazines often folded due to the lack of sales. So Judy Lynn decided that her husband, Lester, would edit the fantasy authors, and then she would just oversee the imprint and the marketing, which was her big thing. And also she developed these relationships with the authors, really close relationships, and really nurtured them in their writing and creating their plots and that type of thing. So as Del Rey had been named for Judy Lynn, she continued to triumph in science fiction through her, critical feedback, again, on the plot, the language, the characters. She was absolutely monumental in helping to create those books, along with those authors. And it would prove an amazing year. In April, they published a fantasy novel called The Sword of Shannara by an unknown named Terry Brooks. Bestsellers didn't want fantasy, says Lester, but it was a perfect case of serendipity, and I knew I could tie it into the Tolkien stuff. So in 1978, Del Rey also became the vice president of Ballantine Books. Del Rey's mission then became to develop a strong backlist of science fiction novels that could hook new generations of younger readers, not to mention adults.
And goodness knows, we know she was successful. Widely.
Oh, yeah. And she was in pain this whole time.
Oh.
I go back to thinking about that. When I was doing this research, I kept going and all this stuff I read about her, and I thought, poor thing, though, she was in pain. And she was just maneuvering through that and pushing through it, and was so, despite that, was very cheerful and outgoing.
And quite the visionary.
Oh,
really
my
saw a
gosh.
market before it
Generous.
existed.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. A visionary, absolutely pioneer. So one early success was her Star Trek log series, a sequence of 10 novels based on episodes of something called Star Trek. You may have heard of it.
Never heard of it.
The animated series, though. And Del Rey landed an even bigger success by snagging the novelization rights to a science fiction film that at the time few Hollywood executives believed would do well.
And
Star Wars.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Del Rey signed up George Lucas's Star Wars a year before the movie was ever released.
Wow. So she really saw things coming.
She did.
Really got it.
She did. So before it was filmed, she got the script and she got the pre-production artwork. And to quote Del Rey, she said, "I enjoyed the story, but it was very linear. I can't do it like you."
Well, do we know that she really spoke with a Brooklyn accent
I think
or
she
a New
did.
York accent?
I'm pretty sure she
You're
did.
pretty sure she did. Okay.
Yeah. But when I saw the paintings, I said,
I saw the paintings.
April, I think every time I should just hand it over to you. Let's start again. To quote Del Rey, she said,
"I enjoyed the story, but it was very linear. When I saw the paintings, I said, if this is what it's going to look like, I want a piece."
Oh, God. She told the filmmakers to come up with a novel, and she said, "We bought that for no money." I mean, who had heard of these Lucas people? It sold modestly, and no one expected much until Judy Lynn received some slides from the production in progress.
"I went into the art department to use the light box. I put them on the box, and pretty soon I'm jumping up and down, yelling and screaming, 'We're gonna make millions!'"
She was bouncing all over her chair in recollection, little arms windmilling over her head.
I could do that too because I have little arms.
Little arms. She's doing right now. She's windmilling over her head right now. Amazingly, Del Rey's Star Wars novels went on to sell 4.5 million copies in less than 5 months. And that was months before the first movie was ever released.
Wow, that's amazing.
Talk about a visionary. And
She
here's
saw it
everyone in
coming.
Hollywood thinking it's going to just
Flop.
Yeah. Flop. Bite the dust. Oh my gosh. So this savvy gamble led to years of lucrative tie-in products for Del Rey books such as calendars, art books, sketchbooks, the Star Wars Intergalactic Passport.
Merch.
Do you have the passport? The Intergalactic Passport?
I don't have an intergalactic
If you have the
passport.
Star Wars Intergalactic Passport, could you let us know on SheelaNaGig? We'd like to know. And tell us a little bit more about what that is. I think it just sounds so cool.
Very cool.
I should have gone down that rabbit hole. But and of course, more novels set in the Star Wars universe. So many different tie-ins, in fact, that Judy Lynn dubbed herself the Mama of Star Wars.
The Mama of Star Wars.
No, say it like Judy Lynn.
Oh, the Mama of Star Wars.
There you go. Good.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Okay,
The Mama of
one
Star
lesser-known
Wars.
example
Amazing.
of her prowess
Yes.
is, wait for it,
Uh-huh.
The Princess Bride.
Of course.
Do you love The Princess Bride?
Who does not love The Princess
God,
Bride?
it's such a good movie. That is such an amazing movie. I think I've seen it 5 times.
You know, it's one of those movies that seems to cross all kinds of other genres
It does.
and
It does.
biases. Everybody loves The Princess Bride.
Of course. But at that time, this is before the 1987 film, which most of us know about, but the movie had originated actually much earlier, back in 1973. There was a novel by, the author was William Goldman, and it sold really poorly.
Huh.
And it might have faded into obscurity had Del Rey not been determined to revive Ballantine's backlist.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty amazing.
Pretty amazing.
She reissued The Princess Bride in 1977 under Del Rey Books with a dazzling gatefold die-cut cover and a new promotional campaign without which the novel and the film might never have found its later success. This is an example of her amazing marketing prowess. Judy Lynn was truly a marketing genius, among many other things.
Yeah.
Between 1977 and 1990, Del Rey Books was so dominant on the science fiction and fantasy market that they had 65 different titles reach a bestseller list.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
This was a genre that was gone.
Yeah.
That was really had no following, had no success. And she had this vision. But again, we've never heard of her.
Right?
Have you ever heard of her?
No, never. Till
No.
before today.
I was even asking people this week as I was working on it. I have a few friends who are science fiction readers, aficionados, and I brought up, Del Rey Books. They all knew Del Rey Books. I said, do you know who Judy Lynn Del Rey is? No. And then I would tell them all the story, and everybody was just shocked.
Right.
And these are people who actually are sci-fi people. So she continued to demonstrate this extraordinary gift for that marketing in science fiction and fantasy to an unprecedentedly large audience, and her releases continued to often hit the U.S. bestseller list. They just over and over again. And she stayed on there for 8 years, becoming the editor, making the connections that would continue to make Del Rey Books a powerhouse. And one longtime friend believes that her size may have influenced her decisions.
Oh, that's interesting. How does that work?
Well, she was saying that sci-fi buffs thrive on idiosyncrasies. And the minute that Del Rey found science fiction, she suddenly found those people very accepting. It was like she had finally come home.
Oh.
And we had talked about that a little bit early on when she discovered the conventions.
Right.
So Del Rey was also described as incredibly intelligent, quick-witted, and hard-driving. Robert Silverberg, a science fiction author who published numerous works with Del Rey Books, said of Del Rey, she affects a kind of New York hip toughness. That kind of jumpy, cigar in the mouth style.
Yeah! Lay it on me! I love it. That's it.
But under that is this real kind of toughness that I suppose you need when you're 3 feet 9 inches tall.
She's 3 feet 9 inches. Wow.
Yeah, that's like a foot shorter than you.
Yes, it's hard to believe.
Right?
Yeah.
So Isaac Asimov, a renowned science fiction author who also published a number of works with Del Rey, had said Judy Lynn has what I call the Mickey Rooney syndrome. You're short, so you act tall. That overcompensation is one of the reasons she's such a success. Maybe that's why you're such a success, April.
Am I a success?
Yes. Well, you're very mighty.
I am mighty.
You
I am
are.
mighty.
There was this girl on Ellery's volleyball team who I just called Mighty. She was so tiny, but man, she worked hard. She was all over the court, and she loved it. I would look at her and say, good job, Mighty, good game. She'd just beam. So cute, little Mighty. So over the course of her career, Del Rey earned a reputation as a superstar editor among all of her authors. Arthur C. Clarke, who co-wrote the screenplay for 2001: A Space Odyssey, called her the most brilliant editor I've ever encountered. And Philip K. Dick said she was the greatest editor since Maxwell Perkins, who was the legendary editor of Ernest Hemingway and F. Scott Fitzgerald.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Who is actually Zelda.
Right.
As we all
That's
know.
a whole nother story.
Yeah, check out the Zelda episode. On that
Different Sheela.
Because of Judy Del Rey, Ballantine Books and its Del Rey imprint went from publishing 348 titles in 1972 to 1,047 titles in 1982.
Wow.
A year in which 6 of the 15 best-selling fiction hardcovers of that year were science fiction or fantasy.
Wow, she really defined that market.
And she just kept going. She just kept doing more and more and getting more successful and bigger, and her ideas were exploding.
That's fantastic.
And to note, she wasn't super recognized still.
No.
But I will say that she did have a very strong reputation, and she did have some success, obviously. The Science Fiction Book Club Award was given to her. She won 7 of the first 9 years of the award's existence.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
That she was at least noticed there.
Well, I guess, it is true that when you have a role like editing, it is kind of a behind the scenes kind of role. But I'm so glad you're sharing her with us today.
Well, she's fascinating.
It's amazing.
She's just a fascinating woman. And there's little things about her, too, just her style and
quirkiness.
She had a real quirkiness, which I will get to here. She kind of reminds me a little bit of myself. So in July of 1983, when things were going great, writer Kurt Suppley published an article in the Washington Post, and he titled it Partners in a World of Fantasy, and it focused on Judy Lynn and Lester Del Rey, who were referred to as the supernovas of science fiction. Suppley describes the Del Rey's home as behind a plain apartment door is a private cosmos of baubles and whimsy, where reality and fantasy coalesce. A stuffed bunny perches on the arm of a sofa. A deep-shed Wookiee doll lolls in the center, and on the walls are paintings from the Tolkien calendars, and on every ledge and bookcase are bulls, a score of them, ceramic, wooden, a silent stampede of figurines.
Wow.
See?
Well, yes, I could say that we're in your family room, and the walls are filled with all kinds of beautiful art and mementos, very eclectic collections, everything from 1960 figurines and geisha dolls to
that's my handless albino geisha right up there. She's handless and albino.
To mid-century modern glassware and stemware. It's just Missy is a collector.
It all makes me very happy, and a lot of this I've been collecting since I was like 15. And one of the things I collect are misfit collectibles. So sometimes you look around and things look a little like they're just little sad misfit collectibles, but who else would be displaying them but me? Somebody's got to display them. You know who else would display them, I'll bet, though?
Who?
Judy Lynn.
Oh, Judy Lynn, yes.
Yeah. Judy Lynn and I would have been friends, I think, for sure. So, presiding over this menagerie, like elfin monarchs, are Judy Lynn and Lester Del Rey, and the conjugal core of Del Rey Books. She is a diminutive dynamo of cheer, festooned in gold rings, chains, and earrings. Again, she kind of sounds like me.
Yep.
She is the house's...
Only shorter with a New York accent.
Exactly, April. She's the house's editor-in-chief. And she's one of the most universally envied of publishing executives.
Yeah, she says bluff and chipper. I used to be a Jewish princess. Now I'm a Jewish empress.
I love it. So now we're talking about Lester. He was the rumpled and cantankerous veteran science fiction writer with a ragged tuft of chin whiskers and the eyes of a dyspeptic Rasputin. He is the line's fantasy editor, as we know. So we're going to take a pin out of what we talked about earlier, her bull collection.
Good. I
okay?
love sticking pins and pulling them back out.
I know you do.
Okay.
Just don't put them in your eyes, okay?
No. The bulls.
The bulls. We're talking about the bulls.
Yeah.
So remember, we talked about the bull collection. Mm-hmm. Just to refresh your memory, her book collection started in college when her teacher asked her to edit a scholarly book on Joyce titled The Celtic Bull. So yes, Judy Lynn had continued to grow her bull collection. She just came to love 3 in particular of her stuffed bulls like her own children. And she called this set of stuffed bulls, she called them her 3 papal bulls, as a play on words, making reference to papal documents. And you ask, what are papal documents? Well, they are public decrees, letter patents, or charters issued by the Pope of the Catholic Church.
I was going to say, papal sounds like Pope.
Yeah, there you go. Though the 3 papal bulls refer specifically to a series of papal documents issued back in the 1700s. So as we know, Judy Lynn was both scholarly and irreverent.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of hit on both.
Yeah.
Especially as a Jew. She's
right. Right. All bets are off, ladies.
So To tell you a little bit more about Judy Lynn and Lester's 3 papal bulls, their names were Boniface, Urban, and Innocent. They were each about 3 inches high, so shorter than she was, and each had a thatch of mink fur between their horns. And when Kurt Suppley was interviewing the Del Reys in his Washington Post article, Judy Lynn and Lester were in the throes of planning a bar mitzvah for those bulls. For the
bulls.
Yeah, for the papal bulls.
Of course, every papal bull needs a bar mitzvah.
That's right. That's right.
I say.
To quote Suppley, Judy had disappeared into the kitchen, returning with a gleaming tray on which sat 3 tiny silver bowls. Quiet now, Lester carefully spoons a dollop of lunch into each bowl and takes them into the living room, where a sort of bovine shrine for the bulls has been erected between 2 of the easy chairs. The little dishes are set in front of each bowl, and they are garlanded in miniature handkerchiefs and neck chains, and each has a tiny teddy bear half its height to sleep with.
Oh my goodness. This is quite elaborate.
Yeah.
Urban is the top toro. He's the alpha, Judy Lynn says. He wears the horn rings. And he has a business card. Urban Del Rey, Gen Z Macha.
Ooh, you even said it correctly. Look at you.
Thank you.
I had to look up the pronunciation. I didn't realize that you would be Judy Lynn in this. I love that you're Judy Lynn in this.
I love that I'm Judy Lynn in this, and I had no idea this is coming.
Yeah, this is fantastic. Yeah, this is all improv today, you guys. You know that Yiddish term? You know what it means?
What does it mean?
It means
Macha is a big deal.
Exactly, and that's what it means. It means that you're a big shot.
Yes,
A big shot.
of course.
Yeah. So that.
You're a Macha.
So Urban.
Yep.
Big shot.
Big shot.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Suppley goes on to say that the Del Reys stepped through this ritual as unselfconsciously as somebody else would feed their cat. Suppley decides that this is a habit of play and a dialect of love between the Del Reys.
Oh, I love that. That is so sweet and so specific.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh.
Other reports suggested that these stuffed animals were treated with unusual care and affection, and even during their travels, Judy Lynn and Lester would regularly call home to speak with the bulls. So sweet.
Okay, a little crazy, but sweet.
Bordering on crazy, but
Bordering
very
on
sweet.
crazy, but we're moving along. It's sweet.
This unique behavior, again, some suggested that it cited a testament to their eccentric yet strong characters, demonstrating their ability to embrace unconventional behaviors without feeling constrained by societal norms.
Well, look, how do you launch an industry based on science fiction and fantasy and not be a little, what's the word?
Fantastical.
Yeah. Eccentric. Yeah, crazy.
Well, you gotta have a broad imagination.
You do. And
Yeah.
apparently they did.
Absolutely. So Del Rey Books dominated genre publishing, producing more best-selling novels again through 1990. Oh, I'm sorry though, but here it comes.
Yeah, sadly.
Sadly.
I
know.
Everybody brace yourself. The sadly is coming.
I just want to say she was on a roll. Like, things just kept getting better and better. Things just kept going better and better, despite the fact that she still really was never recognized appropriately.
Right.
The success of Del Rey Books, of everybody she worked with, the admiration, the respect everybody had for her, she was absolutely killing it in her field. And so she was on a high at this time. But sadly, Judy Lynn Del Rey suffered a brain hemorrhage in October of 1985.
No, I wasn't ready for this.
And she remained hospitalized in her then hometown of Manhattan until she died on February 20th, 1986.
Oh.
Lester Del Rey remained by her side the whole time.
Oh.
I hate that part.
I hate that part too.
I always hate when, but at least she didn't die penniless.
No, and she died really having accomplished a tremendous amount.
Absolutely.
And she leaves a legacy behind because today there are so many science fiction and fantasy fans and consumers
Absolutely.
of all kinds of that genre.
And more needs to be written about her. I mean, I think there needs to be a documentary about her. I will get to it. There is a short little documentary thing that's been made about her, which is really cool. It's only 12 minutes. You should watch it. So, anyway, at the time of her death, Judy Lynn Rey had become the dominant figure in U.S. science fiction and fantasy publishing. Despite, again, her physically taxing genetic disability, she had been unstoppable.
That's amazing.
And in 1986, she was posthumously awarded the Hugo Award for Best Professional Editor. But Lester Del Rey declined the award in her name, saying that she would have objected to the award being given to her just because she had recently died.
Aww.
Lester declared it was too late to recognize her.
Oh, Lester.
It's so sad.
That
But
is sad.
It's kind of true, though. I mean,
Yeah.
I understand.
Yep.
I understand why he said that.
Yeah.
Because it had to be very hurtful for him, too.
Right. Right. I'm sure.
So he never accepted it on her behalf. And what was sad and inexcusable is that she should have won that award years before, and probably more than once.
Exactly.
And she didn't.
Mm.
And when doing research as to why Del Rey hadn't won that Hugo Award prior, it was said that Del Rey's tendencies as an editor were sometimes criticized, often by competitors who could not match her line success.
I was going to say it was pure jealousy.
Was someone jelly? Probably a man? Come
Yeah.
on. It's so freaking ridiculous, and it's so obvious. I'm going to read you a few more reasons, which are so fucking stupid. Unfortunately, Del Rey's reputation suffered from its own commercial success. Imagine that.
Imagine.
Yeah, and again, frankly, it just seems like a bunch of jealous assholes who couldn't handle it. You know, from everything I gathered, that's really what it sounds like. They were extremely intimidated by her,
Yeah.
threatened by her.
Well, in a way, it's a compliment to be that threatened.
Yeah. So Ballantyne's parent company, Random House, was also known as an industry leader in free speech, giving their publishing divisions, including Ballantine, immense creative autonomy. More so than any other science fiction and fantasy publishing company combined. And you know what? Good for them.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be something that should keep you from getting an award because they were open-minded.
Right.
So lastly, other publishers complained that Del Rey imprinted and prioritized commercial success over literary merit.
Oh. Yeah.
Yet despite these complaints, Del Rey authors earned their fair share of literary accolades. What does that tell you?
Tells you there's a bunch of bull around the controversy of her name and memory.
Ugh,
Yeah.
so stupid. Yeah, and it's obviously jealousy talking.
Yeah.
You
But
know, the
her
comment of
success-
like,
Missy, her success really speaks for
oh,
itself.
it does. It
I mean,
does.
she
Especially
put the
now.
genre on the map. It's huge. It was gigantic. She saw things like Star Wars coming and was dancing before anybody else recognized it was a serious commodity. And the fact that she was commercial, damn good for her.
Right.
You know?
You're right. You're right. Just because Del Rey was more successful than any other publisher, and it was led by a woman, and a woman with disabilities, no less, it made everyone have to tear it down to make themselves feel better and use shitty excuses as a reason to never let Judy Del Rey win awards and recognition that she so deserved. It just sucks.
Well, I think she had the best revenge because it sounds like she had a magical life.
She did.
A loving husband, a
She
great
didn't die
marriage.
penniless, thank God.
She was successful, and sticks and stones, baby.
You're right. You're right. Sticks and stones.
New Yorkers are tough. We know how to take a licking.
That's true. That's true, Judy Lynn. But on October 1st, 2024, fairly recently, thankfully, this industry pioneer finally got the limelight.
Oh.
On that day, PBS aired Judy Lynn Del Rey, The Galaxy Gal, the first episode of its new documentary series called Renegades. According to PBS American Masters, Renegades is a series of 5 12-minute short films showcasing the lives of diverse, lesser-known historical figures with disabilities, exploring not only their impact on and the contributions to the U.S. society, but also the concept of disability culture, which honors the uniqueness of disabilities. The episode celebrates and explores the life and legacy of Judy Lynn Del Rey and the overarching impact of science fiction on societal norms, its ability to shape collective imagination, foster empathy and understanding, and reconfigure cultural thinking toward disability. People with disabilities, as with most historically targeted communities, are often combating inaccurate, harmful narratives about themselves. They are often highly visible in society because of their otherness, yet at the same time invisible due to the lack of understanding of the systematic barriers these individuals face. You've got to watch Renegades.
I definitely
I'm going to
do.
watch all of them.
Yeah.
I'm very excited, but they're 12 minutes each, so you
So
owe it to
easy
yourself. And you
to-
can start out with their very first one, which is about Judy Lynn Del Rey. Science fiction narratives, through their perspective and imaginative nature, offer a much-needed lens through which disability can be reframed, redefined, and recontextualized. Del Rey's chosen medium serves as a powerful tool for the dismantling of stereotype and bigotry, prompting audiences to reevaluate their perceptions of normalcy and difference. Getting back to these filmmakers, they are truly amazing. I highly recommend. Again, 12 minutes of your life. You got to do it. And I just want to talk about the filmmakers real quick because I think it's so amazing what they've done. We have Jeremy Shing. He's the director of Renegades. He is a humanistic sci-fi writer, mental health advocate, and second-generation Taiwanese immigrant based here in LA. And also an accomplished documentary filmmaker. Ryan Camarada is the producer of Renegades, and Colin Buckingham is the writer of Renegades. He is a writer, actor, and producer based in Brooklyn, New York. His goal as a storyteller is to make projects that reflect the intersectional nature of disability and to create opportunities for historically excluded, disenfranchised, and marginalized persons. So thank you to Jeremy, Ryan, and Colin for what you do. It's so important and profound. And thank you, Judy Lynn. And I do encourage you to learn more about the Sheela, who turned sci-fi and fantasy into a major publishing category. But reporter Jennifer Crichton puts it best: Judy Lynn Del Rey radiated with the shapeless glee of one of the rebel forces, an upstart who won. Her impact on the science fiction and fantasy genres is still felt today, and Del Rey Books continues to be a publishing leader in science fiction to this day.
Wow.
Yay, Judy Lynn!
Fantastic. I'm so glad you shared her with us.
Go look her up. She's so amazing and adorable, and you will fall in love with her. Just everything, all the pictures you see, everything you read, all her quotes. What a Sheela. What a gal.
Sheela. Yeah.
What a gal. And again, I'm really grateful for April for helping with her improvisational depiction of Del Rey. I think that was really imperative for this episode. So thank you, April Grosinger, for that.
It was my honor.
But thank you for listening, everybody. Keep listening, please. Send us your Sheilas. You can email us from our website now, which is very exciting.
Yes.
The
Can't wait.
SheelaNaGigPodcast.com. You can find us on Instagram, and we just hope you keep listening and that you will continue to share your comments, questions, and Sheilas with us. Thank you so much.
Thank
Until
you.
next time.
See you soon.
SheelaNaGig, unabashed in your glow.